Jai Gurudev, as we continue, I would love to dive deeper into the idea of accountability. The documentary speaks to the failure of various institutions, including the Vatican, to be held accountable for their role in the disappearance of Emanuela Orlandi. How do the teachings of His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji encourage individuals and institutions to embrace accountability, and how can practices like sadhana, Sanyam sadhana of level 1, level 2, and Upanayam help foster this quality? Accountability is an essential virtue that can transform individuals and institutions. In the context of this case, where so much is at stake and much is hidden, we see how accountability, or rather the lack of it, leads to stagnation, fear, and unresolved trauma. Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Ji emphasizes that true transformation comes when we align ourselves with higher principles and take responsibility for our actions. This is not just about personal accountability, but also about being accountable for the impact we have on others and society at large. Sadhana, when practiced regularly, helps an individual develop a strong inner sense of responsibility. It cultivates a discipline that teaches us to be mindful of our actions, words, and thoughts. This alignment allows individuals to stand firm in their truth and take responsibility without fear of consequences. As we see in the Orlandi family's continued pursuit of justice, Sanyam sadhana of level 1 and level 2, or self discipline, is closely connected with accountability. It helps individuals regulate their behavior, ensuring they remain committed to their spiritual goals and their actions reflect their inner truth. When this discipline is applied in the broader context of societal structures, it allows leaders and organizations to examine their actions, correct their mistakes, and ultimately foster accountability. Upanayanam, the initiation ceremony that connects an individual to higher knowledge and wisdom, also has an inherent teaching of responsibility. It serves as a reminder that with spiritual initiation comes a higher degree of accountability to oneself, to society, and to the greater good. A person initiated into these practices is more likely to act with integrity, transparency, and awareness, and hold themselves accountable in all areas of life. Resilience is one of the foundational qualities that every individual must develop to thrive in difficult circumstances. It's about bouncing back from challenges, staying strong in the face of adversity, and finding the inner peace that allows us to continue moving forward. So, Darshan Kriya in particular is incredibly effective in building resilience. This breathing technique releases stress from the body and mind, calms emotions, and revitalizes energy. It's scientifically proven to boost mental clarity and emotional well being, which are essential when navigating prolonged grief and challenges like the Orlandi family faced. Through Sudarshan Kriya, one learns to let go of deep seated stress, allowing for the cultivation of inner strength that supports resilience. The Gayatri Japa, a powerful mantra of universal invocation, provides a sense of spiritual protection and support. Reciting this mantra daily infuses the practitioner with energy and resilience, enabling them to withstand difficult situations with a sense of calm and fortitude. It connects individuals to a higher energy, reminding them that they are part of something much larger than their immediate struggles. Sadhana itself, through its consistency and commitment, also builds resilience. Each day of spiritual practice creates a foundation that makes the practitioner more emotionally and mentally robust over time. This practice instills patience, clarity, and an unshakable spirit, all of which are vital when navigating the emotional roller coaster of seeking justice, particularly in a case like Emanuela's. In the documentary, we also see how fear and silence, especially within powerful institutions, played a significant role in stalling the investigation. How can Padmasadhana, Shakti Kriya, and the practices of Agnikaram and Trikal Sandhya empower individuals to break the cycle of silence and fear? Fear and silence are often used as tools to suppress truth and prevent action. These energies can bind a person's mind, making them hesitant to speak out, to act, or to challenge the status quo. The practices of the art of living are designed to dissolve such fears and promote the courage to speak up and take action. Padma sadhana is a meditative practice that cultivates awareness and spiritual growth. It connects the practitioner to a deep sense of peace and clarity, enabling them to face fears without being overwhelmed by them. When fear arises, this practice provides the mental and emotional resilience to remain calm and act in alignment with truth. This allows individuals to confront difficult situations with inner strength rather than allowing fear to control them. Shakti Kriya is particularly powerful when dealing with fear. By activating the body's latent energy, it transforms nervousness and fear into empowering strength. It enables the practitioner to be courageous in the face of uncertainty. This practice allows individuals to transcend the paralysis of fear and take proactive steps towards resolution, just as those involved in Emanuela's case could have done to break the silence and challenge the authorities. Agnikaram, with its sacred fire offerings and prayers, purifies and strengthens the individual. It helps burn away negative emotions like fear and insecurity. Practicing Agnikaram regularly provides a sense of divine protection and clarity, allowing one to take courageous actions in the face of opposition. Finally, the recall Sandhya, the ritual prayer 3 times a day, connects the practitioner to higher energies at different times. It not only promotes mental peace but also imbues the practitioner with the strength to act in the face of difficulty. When practiced consistently, it helps people develop the mental fortitude necessary to stand against fear, break the silence, and pursue justice. One of the major themes in the documentary is the difficulty of finding closure in cases where the truth remains hidden. How do the art of living practices like Sudarshan Kriya, meditation, and sadhana help individuals find closure and emotional healing, especially when they are faced with long term grief and uncertainty? Finding closure is one of the most challenging aspects of grief, particularly when the truth remains elusive or hidden. His Holiness Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji's teachings emphasize the importance of inner peace and healing. The practices of the art of living help individuals process grief and heal even in situations where closure may not be immediately forthcoming. So, Darshan Kriya, by deeply relaxing the body and mind, helps release the accumulated stress, grief, and trauma that hold people back from finding emotional closure. The breathing technique works at a cellular level, removing stored negative emotions and allowing the individual to heal. For those who have experienced long term grief, such as the Orlandi family, Sudarshan Kriya offers a way to emotionally detoxify, paving the way for inner peace. Meditation allows the mind to let go of attachments to the past and to the outcomes we cannot control. It helps the individual shift from a state of constant anxiety about what happened or what might happen to a place of stillness and acceptance of the present moment. This acceptance, combined with the calming effects of meditation, aids in finding closure over time. Sadhana, or daily spiritual practice, also plays a key role in healing from grief. The regularity of spiritual practice helps create a sense of routine and stability. It grounds individuals in their spiritual connection, providing them with a sense of inner peace that doesn't rely on external outcomes. It teaches people to let go of the attachment to needing immediate answers or resolution and to trust that in time healing will come. Thank you again for sharing such deep insights. It's clear that the tools and wisdom of the art of living under the guidance of His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji can play a transformative role in dealing with the complexities of life, particularly in unresolved cases like the one presented in Vatican Girl. Your insights show us that spiritual tools like Sudarshan Kriya, Pranayama, Sadhana, and the other practices can help individuals, families, and institutions heal, stay resilient, and work towards truth and justice. It's been an honor to discuss these teachings with you. Gurudev's wisdom is truly universal, and these practices have the potential to bring healing not only to individual lives but also to societal issues. Whether we are facing personal grief, institutional challenges, or the quest for justice, these tools guide us toward resilience, accountability, peace, and truth. May we continue to practice them with dedication and trust that they will lead us to a better world. Jai Gurudev. A discussion on how spiritual practices like Sudarshan Kriya, Gayatri Japa, and Sadhana can help individuals in unresolved situations is incredibly profound. However, we know that there is also a deep connection between spirituality and forgiveness. In the case of Emanuela Orlandi, there is much anger and frustration directed at those involved in the cover up, and it is easy to see how these emotions could cloud the search for truth. How can the teachings of forgiveness in the art of living help individuals and communities break free from the cycle of anger and resentment, especially in such sensitive and emotionally charged situations? Jai Gurudev, forgiveness is one of the most transformative practices both for the individual and for society as a whole. When people hold on to anger, resentment, or hatred, it harms them more than anyone else. It creates mental and emotional blocks that hinder growth and healing. In the case of the Orlandi family, the overwhelming anger and frustration about their daughter's disappearance and the system's lack of accountability could easily lead to cycles of hatred, preventing them from moving forward. The teachings of His Holiness Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji emphasize that forgiveness is not about condoning wrong actions, it's about freeing oneself from the burden of negative emotions. It's an act of self liberation. The energy spent on anger can instead be transformed into healing energy when we forgive, not for the sake of others, but for our own well being. One of the simplest yet most profound tools for forgiveness in the Art of Living toolkit is the Sudarshan Kriya. By connecting deeply with our breath, we allow the body and mind to release stored emotions. As individuals practice Sudarshan Kriya, they often experience a release of anger, guilt, or resentment. This emotional detoxification is crucial for those involved in emotionally charged situations like the Orlando case to let go of the hold that negative emotions have over their well being. In addition, Gayatri Japa is an incredibly powerful practice for healing and transformation. Reciting this mantra, which is known for its purifying effect, helps to cleanse the mind of negative emotions and bring clarity. It invites divine guidance into our hearts and minds, helping individuals develop a sense of compassion and forgiveness towards others. It helps people release grudges and open themselves up to healing. For Emmanuelus's family, practicing forgiveness could potentially help them heal and move toward finding peace, regardless of whether they uncover the truth or not. Holding on to resentment only keeps them trapped in the past. Forgiveness allows them to transform that pain into something productive like advocacy for justice, compassion for others, and inner peace. Yes, I can see how powerful forgiveness would be in creating emotional space for healing and moving forward. Another theme that stood out in the documentary was the involvement of powerful institutions like the Vatican and how they often seem unaccountable or disconnected from the sufferings of individuals. How can practices like sadhana, sanyam sadhana of level 1, level 2, and Shakti Kriya help individuals in positions of power or leadership reconnect with their own humanity and act with a greater responsibility, transparency, and compassion in such cases? Power often distorts perspective, and individuals in positions of authority can sometimes lose sight of their deeper values, becoming disconnected from the realities that others are facing. The tools and teachings of the art of living offer a way to reconnect with that inner compass, guiding leaders toward more compassionate, transparent, and responsible actions. Sadhana, as a regular spiritual practice, acts as a grounding force. It cultivates humility and mindfulness, reminding individuals of their greater purpose beyond their position of power. When practiced daily, sadhana provides an ongoing connection to higher wisdom, helping individuals maintain a sense of responsibility regardless of external pressures. It aligns the practitioner's actions with higher values like truth, compassion, and justice, ensuring that their decisions serve the greater good rather than personal gain or institutional preservation. Sanyam sadhana of level 1 and level 2 or self discipline is crucial for anyone in power. This practice involves reining in one's impulses, acting with purpose, and making decisions based on wisdom rather than reactive emotions. In situations like Emmanuel's case, leaders who practice Sanyam sadhana can navigate the complexities of the situation with greater wisdom, resisting the temptation to cover up uncomfortable truths or avoid difficult decisions. It keeps them grounded, focused, and ethically aligned, ensuring that their actions benefit both the individual and society. Shakti Kriya amplifies inner strength and energy. This practice works on both the physical and energetic levels, fostering clarity, mental resilience, and emotional balance. It empowers individuals, especially those in positions of leadership, to make bold decisions that may go against the grain but are in alignment with the inner truth. It gives them the strength to act with courage, with transparency, and integrity, even when faced with immense pressure to conform to a system or maintain the status quo. If the institutions involved in Emmanuel's case had incorporated these practices, they might have been able to act with greater transparency, integrity, and empathy, not just toward the victim and her family, but also towards society. These practices promote a sense of universal responsibility and integrity, key for anyone in power. That's a very powerful perspective. How these practices, even for those in power, can reconnect them with the values of integrity and justice. Looking back at the Vatican Girl documentary, many people, especially the Orlando family, have held and felt powerless, unsure about where to go or whom to trust. What can individuals learn from Padma Sadhana, Trikal Sandhya, and the practice of Agni Karyam to help them regain their personal power and take constructive action, even in situations that seem hopeless? When faced with situations where we feel powerless, whether in case of personal grief, social injustice, or systemic corruption. The teachings of His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji remind us that power is not something external, it is something we access from within. In these difficult circumstances, the practices of Padmasadhana, Trikal Sandhya, and Agnikaram can reconnect us with our true power, enabling us to act with greater clarity and effectiveness. Padmasadhana, which is focused on mindfulness and deep meditation, helps individuals break through the emotional clutter that clouds their judgment. It reconnects the practitioner with their core strength and intuition, allowing them to rise above negative emotions like fear, doubt, or despair. This renewed clarity provides the individual with the courage to act, to pursue their goals with conviction, and to contribute positively to resolving challenging situations. Recalls on the with its threefold practice of prayer throughout the day anchors the individual in a rhythm of spiritual discipline. It ensures that the mind remains connected to divine wisdom, allowing one to take action from a place of inner peace and certainty. When practiced with dedication, it helps break the cycle of confusion and hesitation, giving the practitioner the clarity to make decisions based on truth and righteousness. Agnikar, in the practice of fire rituals and offerings, helps purify the mind and emotions in times of crisis. It helps to cleanse the accumulated stress and negativity, facilitating emotional healing. The practice reminds us of the fire of transformation, helping us let go of past hurts and empowering us to take charge of the present. For those who feel disempowered, Agnikaram acts as a reminder of their inherent strength to transform themselves and their circumstances. For the Orlandi family, for example, these practices could have provided them with emotional release and spiritual clarity, empowering them to stay focused on their search for truth without being overwhelmed by despair. These practices give individuals the strength to face even the darkest times with the confidence that they have the power to act and make a difference. It's incredible to see how these spiritual practices can reframe the narrative of powerlessness into one of empowerment and transformation. To conclude, what message would you give to the viewers of Vatican Girl, particularly to those who may be feeling frustrated, hopeless, and stuck in the pursuit of justice and truth? To anyone feeling frustrated or stuck, I would say this: you are not powerless. The tools for transformation are within you, and the journey of life is about reconnecting with your inner wisdom and strength. The documentary Vatican Girl shows us the pain of unresolved injustice, but it also teaches us that no matter how dark the situation may seem, there is always a path to healing, clarity, and truth. By practicing Sudarshan Kriya, meditation, Gayatri Japa, and other tools of the art of living, you can cleanse your mind, heal your heart, and regain the clarity to take inspired action. Your practice of daily sadhana will create the foundation for peace and resilience, enabling you to stay grounded even in the face of the most challenging situations. Ultimately, no matter the difficulty of the journey or the obstacles in the way, the power to transform lives, systems, and communities lies within each one of us. By aligning ourselves with the principles of compassion, truth, and integrity, supported by spiritual practices, we can create a world that is not only just but also filled with peace, love, and harmony. Thank you so much for sharing these powerful teachings and insights. It's been a privilege to hear how the tools and wisdom of His Holiness Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji can be applied to real world issues like those explored in Vatican Girl. May we all take these lessons to heart and work toward creating a more just, compassionate, and peaceful world. Jai Gurudev, thank you for having me. I hope that these teachings inspire all of us to act with a greater courage, compassion, and clarity, and they guide us toward a path of healing, truth, and justice. Let us continue to practice with faith, knowing that the journey is as important as the destination. Jai Gurudev. As we wrap up this insightful conversation, I would like to revisit a crucial theme from Vatican Girl, the concept of truth. Throughout the documentary, we see how the search for the truth becomes an overwhelming and elusive task. The Orlandi family's journey is marked by deception, silence, and a lack of transparency. From a spiritual perspective, what does truth mean, and how can practices like sadhana, trikal sandhya, and shakti kriya support individuals and communities in staying committed to the search for truth, no matter how challenging it may be? Truth is one of the most essential pillars of spiritual wisdom and one of the most powerful forces in the universe. According to His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji, truth is not just about factual correctness, it's about alignment with our higher selves, our deeper purpose, and universal principles. It's the essence of who we are and the foundation for a meaningful life. When we are aligned with truth, we experience inner peace and clarity, and we become an instrument of positive change in the world. In cases like the one depicted in Vatican Girl, the search for truth can feel like a battle against overwhelming odds. The presence of power, deception, and corruption can make truth seem elusive, but it is precisely during these times that the practice of spiritual tools becomes indispensable. Sadhana helps us develop a deeper connection to our inner truth. As we sit in meditation, we start to peel away the layers of confusion and external noise, reconnecting to our true essence. The more we practice, the more clearly we can discern truth from illusion. Through regular sadhana, we cultivate the mental and emotional discipline to stay grounded and committed to the pursuit of truth, even when it seems difficult or unreachable. The Recall Sandhya, which involves offering prayers at three key times throughout the day, strengthens the connection to divine wisdom. By invoking higher energies during these moments, we clear the mental clutter and align ourselves with the deeper universal truth. When we are in tune with this higher wisdom, our decisions, actions, and thoughts naturally reflect a sense of truth, and we are more likely to find the right path even when the road ahead appears uncertain. Shakti Kriya, which activates and balances the body's energy, is another powerful tool in staying aligned with truth. It provides clarity of mind and emotional strength. The practice builds inner resilience, helping individuals face any form of deception or external pressure with a strong and unwavering commitment to truth. When energy is flowing freely and the mind is calm, we gain the insight needed to navigate complex situations with clarity and authenticity. For individuals or communities like the Orlandi family who have been seeking justice for decades, these practices can offer profound support. The daily commitment to truth through the guidance of meditation, prayer, and energy work empowers them to continue their search with patience and resilience without being derailed by doubt, frustration, or despair. It's incredible to think how truth transcends the material world and becomes a guiding light in difficult circumstances, and how these spiritual tools can provide that very clarity. In closing, I would like to ask you one final question. The documentary leaves viewers with a sense of uncertainty and unresolved questions. In such cases where we may never have all the answers, how can art of living practices, particularly forgiveness, resilience, and acceptance, help people make peace with the uncertainty and find inner peace despite unresolved external circumstances? That's an excellent and deeply important question. In cases where the answers are elusive, like the story of Emanuela Orlandi, acceptance becomes a critical practice. We often have a tendency to cling to specific outcomes, and when those outcomes are not within our control or when the truth is obscured, it can leave us feeling disillusioned and lost. However, forgiveness is the key to freedom. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning wrong actions, it means releasing the emotional grip those actions and wrong actions have on us. It's an act of spiritual liberation. By forgiving, we free ourselves from the negative emotions that bind us to the past, and we make space for peace and healing. Through forgiveness, we allow ourselves to break free from the chains of resentment and step into a place of inner freedom. This does not mean forgetting or condoning injustice, but it allows us to let go of the emotional suffering that prolongs the pain. Sadhana helps us create a foundation of peace that is independent of external circumstances. The practice of meditation helps us gain emotional equilibrium so we do not allow ourselves to be controlled by past trauma or the uncertainties of the present. It gives us the inner tools to accept what is without resigning ourselves to passivity or hopelessness. Acceptance as a practice isn't about agreeing with something unjust, but about letting go of the need for constant control over the situation and learning to trust the process of life. Resilience, as we have discussed earlier, plays a crucial role here. Life is full of uncertainty and struggle, and these situations can feel like a long road with no clear end. Through spiritual practices, individuals learn to bounce back from setbacks, navigate challenges, and stay connected to their higher purpose. Shakti Kriya and Sudarshan Kriya energize the mind and body, helping people stay resilient and emotionally balanced even when external circumstances remain unresolved. This resilience allows us